Hey guys, I have another question that I want to address. We had somebody following us who actually gave me a few questions, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. Erica, thank you for your questions. And these are tough ones to answer. So I'm going to put that out there right away. It sounds like this is an employee who has an issue with an office manager, which I hear about all the time. I hate to tell you, doctors and office managers, but team members have issues many times with their doctor and their office manager, and I think that this is what's going on, and I want to address it for you. So the question was, the issue is, I have an office manager, or there's an office manager who, and I hear this all the time. This isn't, new, but when the team members are bringing up ideas, either the office manager squashes them or takes them on as their own or doesn't listen, and the team kind of just sort of, okay, great. Well, what's the point of me trying to do better? What's the point of me trying to make suggestions? What's the point of me trying to help this practice if the office manager is going to be the barrier or the stopping point to that? Or even in the case, it could even be the dentist. So let's talk about this, right? You decided to start me out on some good topics. So I guess my thought would be there's kind of four parts to this in my mind. There's you. There's the person that you're dealing with, the office manager or the dentist or whatever. There's the situation at hand. And then there is communication, okay? So let's first talk about you. I've been an office manager. I've also been a team member in corporate world. I've been somebody who wasn't the boss. I've been an employee. And so I understand kind of the feeling in both sets of shoes, right? As an employee, it's amazing when you have great ideas. And I hope that your doctor and your team always wants to, have you guys be looking for ways to improve the practice, to improve patient care, to grow. That's amazing. Here's my thought, what I want you to start thinking about. Are you really suggesting things that are going to improve the practice? And are you looking for things that are a positive thing, or are you looking for issues and areas that you're complaining about? Meaning, do you think you can do it better than they can? Do you think that this isn't running the way it should be and it needs to be changed? Think about that, because as an office manager and as a dentist, we get a ton of ideas and we can't always implement everything. And sometimes the ideas maybe are not, you might think they're amazing, but maybe they're just not doable for the practice, or not at this time, or maybe there's too many things going on. So really start, I guess, realizing, looking in the mirror at yourself and saying, am I offering constructive criticism? Am I offering constructive ideas? Okay, and how many am I putting up? Like, are you the person who's just always going, this doesn't work, and we need to change this, and this we need to do this better? That can get annoying at times. Or are you giving real suggestions that have a backing and a reason that things should be doing, or changes or ideas, okay? The other thing is when you come up with suggestions or ideas, when you are identifying something to do, tell the reason why. Always start with the reason why. And then if it's a problem or an issue, come with the problem or issue with 2 or 3 suggestions. Too many times team members come and complain about something and they dump it on the desk of the office manager, or they dump it on the desk of the dentist, and here's a problem we have to fix. But they don't come with any solutions. They don't come with the why behind it. Why is this important that we fix it? And what are some options that you think we could do to fix this? So really look at yourself and analyze yourself. Are you the complainer, or are you really giving good suggestions? And how many are you giving? And is there a reason? Just realize that maybe there is a reason why the office manager isn't taking all of them or hasn't implemented them, and maybe there's something you can do to improve on that, okay? Now let's look at the office manager or the dentist, whoever you're dealing with. Maybe they don't realize, maybe they are overwhelmed. Maybe you haven't had a real discussion with them to say, listen, I have good ideas. I really want to help, but I feel like every time I bring something up, you take it as your own, or you don't do it, or whatever. And tell me why you're doing that. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me how I can improve in helping you, and really listen to what the office manager has to say. Maybe the office manager just has a million things going on. Maybe there's pressure on the office manager that you don't even know about. Maybe the office manager didn't even realize that they're doing that. So not only do you have to look in the mirror, I would suggest that you, and we'll talk about the end, communication, that you look at it from the office manager's perspective. You know, take a minute, walk in their shoes, and just say, you know, what do they have going on? Why do they do this? Now, I'm not going to say that every person is perfect. So maybe you've got an office manager that's difficult to deal with. And I'm going to talk about communication at the end. You have to decide, how much are you willing to deal with? How much are you willing to, have to battle back and forth with the office manager? And that, of course, is on you. I'm not suggesting one way or the other. So look at yourself. Look at your office manager from their perspective, or your dentist for that matter. If you've got a dentist that you're battling with and they're not implementing your ideas, or they're being difficult or whatever, maybe they've got something on their plate that you don't even know about, okay? So then the next thing is communication, and I think there was one other thing and I forgot what it was. So I'm gonna talk about communication. Maybe it'll come to me. Oh, the situation. That's it. Okay. See, I knew I would remember. I wasn't going to start over. So the situation. Okay. So here's the thing. Not every situation is the same, but if you start having an issue with somebody and then you have a similar issue and then another issue comes up, it starts to build into, you think they never listen to you. You think that they always take your ideas or whatever. Think about the last time you had a disagreement with somebody outside of work, like a family member or your significant other. Think about when you had a disagreement on something, and the short time after that disagreement, before you made up, how everything that person did annoyed you. You know, they can't do the dishes right, and when they breathe, they drive me crazy, and I just can't be near them, okay? That's the same thing when you're having a disagreement or not seeing eye to eye with your office manager. And it might feel like every single time they're not listening to you, or they're not taking your ideas or whatever, but maybe it's not every single time. Maybe it's just in your head, it's built up because you didn't address it the first time. And now every little time something happens, it's just like, see, they never listen to what I say. See, they're always taking my ideas. And maybe that's not the case, okay? So really look at the scenario, right? I'm going to talk about the last thing, which is having a meeting or communication. Look at the scenario and say, did this really happen in this scenario? And then once you meet with them going forward, forget about the past. Don't pile up all these things that they've done. If you and the office manager, you and the dentist have a meeting and you're going to start working towards a better goal, let the past go and really look at the situation each time it comes up. So that way you can start to address them specifically and not generally. Then lastly is the communication, which is talking to the person. It's meeting. So many times we don't communicate well in the dental office. I just did a whole 3-part series on our website about communication because we don't communicate well. We think we're communicating, but really the message we're trying to get across isn't getting across to the other person, and we're not making sure that we're on the same page. So I suggest that you have a meeting with whomever you're having issues with and talk about the issue, but not in the sense of I need to win this, or I'm right, or you're wrong, but more of here's how I feel, right? When you do that, here's what I think is happening from my perspective. How does this feel for you? How does this, why do you do this? How can I help you more? How can we work together? How can we improve this? How can I improve to help you? If you go into the meetings with the right attitude and the objective of trying to come to a solution at the end, you're going to have a lot more luck and be more effective at coming to a solution with that office manager or that dentist than just kind of sitting back and they always do this. Nobody ever listens to me. So come up with real examples of when I say this, you respond this way. What do you mean by that? How could I suggest these ideas better? How can I help you so that you aren't so stressed and we can implement some of the ideas I have? How can I make sure that when I give you a suggestion, we can work together to get that thing done, whatever it is. Sit down with them and really try to work this out. You haven't probably looked at it from their shoes. So make sure you go into this meeting, ready to talk from their perspective, tell them from your perspective, and see if you guys can come together on a way to move forward so that when you do have suggestions and ideas that you're not always getting squashed and getting, negative feedback when it comes to the office manager or whoever you're dealing with. So look at yourself, walk a mile in their shoes, look at the situation for what it really is, and then communication. Have a serious conversation with them, not in the midst of the crazy day, but schedule a meeting with them and talk about the issue that's bothering you. So I hope that helps. I'm sure I'm going to get a ton more now after this because everybody's got issues like this in the practice. And I will do my best to try to help, but that's going to be my suggestion to start, is really get in there and try to fix that scenario with your office manager. So thanks, guys. Make sure you subscribe. Send me questions, because if I don't have questions, I'm just going to talk about what I want to talk about. So I want to know what you want to know, what you're doing in your office, and let's make this a place that you can come to, and hopefully I can help you remotely from YouTube. So thanks, guys. I'll talk to you again soon.